Hi guys, Coach Chris here, and for today we're going to practice some of our hip controlled rotations. So it's very important for us to have the intent whenever we do these controlled rotations. So for the hips controlled rotations, the intent of that one is for us to recognize the different movement abilities of our hips. So our hips can bend or flex, so they're quite the same thing. Our hips can extend as well, that is moving our leg back. Okay, so that is what we call hip extension. It can also rotate out. It can also rotate in. Okay, so observe the action of this hip joint here. It rotates in, and as a result of that one, my toes and my knees are pointing inwards. It can rotate out, the one that I've said earlier, and as a result, my toes and our knees are pointed out. So in every day, we either walk in either of those positions depending on your movement patterns. It can also abduct. We call that one hip abduction, and we call this movement adduction. So whenever you're going to kick something, or going to shut a door using your foot, that's the movement called the adduction. Okay, so all of those are functions of the hip. So now we're going to combine them all into one controlled movement. So you may hold onto a stick or something that is stable, a wall or anything. What's important is the non-lifted side is all stable from your foot, testing up your butt on this side, holding the stick tightly, keeping the whole torso straight. From a front angle, what we're going to do first is bring this leg forward, adduct, adduction, and then from there, we're going to flex this hip, trying to bring this knee towards our shoulder, and trying to bring this foot towards our opposite shoulder. And from that one, we're going to abduct and externally rotate our hip. Now this knee would point towards that way. It's very important for this hip not to follow whatever this knee is doing. Hence, this should be pointing the opposite way. So I'm trying my best to allow this hip to always point towards that stick. Once you've gone to this position, all you need to do next is slightly drop it down, and then we're going to rotate our hip in. So that is the rotating that hip in, allowing our inner thighs to face towards the floor. Then the kick back. That is extending our hip, tensing up the butt of this lifted side. And we're going to slowly bring both legs together, and then reverse that action. So we're going from hip extension to internal rotation, where inner thighs are facing down the floor. And then we're going to drag this foot forward, getting to our externally rotated position. And then slowly return with our hip flexed, with our knee in front of our hip. And slowly bring it down to adduction, then get back to your starting position. Now we're going to try to do it from a side angle so we can see it as well. So from there, slip back into adduction, bringing this foot in, bending this hip, allowing this knee to point towards my opposite shoulder. Foot here points towards my opposite shoulder. Then from there, pointing this knee to the side. Then from there, rotating our hip in. Inner thigh faces the floor. Heel continuously pulls back to extend our hip, getting this butt muscle to work as it slowly closes in. Then we're going to reverse. Internal rotation, and then getting back to adduction, external rotation, dragging this foot forward, knees pointed to the side, and slowly return to the starting position, to that adduction, then bringing it down. Cool. So one repetition of that one is equal to one back and forth. Give that one a shot. Let me know.